All right, guys. Today we're going to write our first model for real-world behavior, which is pretty badass. The behavior that we're going to model is my niece Ailish here. She's adorable, I'm sure you can tell, and she loves bananas. So what we're going to do is we're going to model Ailish's conversation. So the way Ailish's conversation works is there's an answer. Oops, that's not how you spell answer. To the question that Ailish is always asking. Right, so my input's going to have a prompt. My prompt is going to be Nana, right? Okay, and then there's this statement, right, that most of the time you're not going to give Ailish a banana, right? So you're going to say something other than yes. And that's not going to result in anything different. She's just going to ask for a Nana again, right? So what we have is we have this situation where while the answer is not equal to, and this gets a little sticky, so I just wanted to highlight this because last time I talked about the keyword not. So while answers not yes is causing a syntax error. And the reason this is causing a syntax error is not as a way to invalidate is to switch a Boolean to the other case. So while answer is not yes doesn't make any sense because it's not performing a check. So if it performed when we want it to perform a check, we want bam equals, right? So this is checking while the answer to the input is not yes. And then we're going to update the answer because she's listening, right? She's listening to that answer, right? And then we have this other case, which is that after she gets a banana, she goes, and does this cute little chewing thing that's kind of disgusting and also adorable. So we're going to put a print line outside of the while loop, and it seems, this seems like it'll probably get executed in the first run, but it won't. And chewing is generous here because she's small. Okay, so let me run this and let's see what it does. So it's asking for an Nana. Oh, crap. I should put a new line in here and a new line in there. Okay, Nana, nah, Nana, something else. Nana, go to bed. Nana, right? So you see how this is continually asking. And if I type yes, then she gets an Nana, and then the program ends for at least a little while, right? So this is a good way to get to just keep trying, right? Something. So if you want to validate user input, but you want to get out of that in some way, then you'll need what's called a break. So if we want to get out of this, so if I say something like, if answer is go to sleep, right? Like if she was actually going to listen to that, which admittedly, this is unrealistic. Models are never quite exactly what they ought to be, right? But if we say that the answer is go to sleep, right? Then we'll break out of this loop, right? You guys see this? And then this print line's not going to make any sense in that case, right? Because yum happy chewing is not really shouldn't go with this break. But let me illustrate this anyway, and then you can figure out how this would be modified. So Nana, and if I type now go to sleep, I get another ask. Oh, I got another ask because I answered this first one. You guys see that? So this is exactly, like, this is working exactly the way I intended this program to work. It just isn't what I wanted it to do. So let me show you a trick here. One thing we can do is, instead of asking this question at the beginning, we can just initialize the variable to an empty string. And then since that empty string is not identically yes, we'll get in here. And then we can try that again. Right. So really we could do, if we wanted this to work the other way, right? If we wanted this to work more realistically, we'd have something like, if the answer is go to sleep, we'll break. Elif, right? Otherwise, if the answer is identically yes, oops, then we can put in our yum happy chewing. And then outside of this, right? Maybe let's put in our result for if we tell her to go to sleep. So if we tell her to go to sleep, she'll probably cry because pretty solid. That's what she does when she's told to go to sleep most of the time. Okay, and so this is going to execute, right? And this one with the if the answer is identically yes, that's going to break us out of the while loop because it's not going to satisfy this condition, right? So maybe I'll just put a diagnostic print line at the end here, like, this has been a conversation with Ailish. All right, so now if I hit run, I'm getting this Nana question because the variable started out as empty, and then the empty thing wasn't identically yes. And so now I'm getting this this update here for asking for input. And now I have these two options that'll break me out of this loop, and otherwise we'll just continue to go through this loop. Another way you could do this, so another option would be, instead of putting while answer is not yes, just put in something that's always true, like while 1 equals 1, or while true, right? And then put a break in both cases. Those are options. Structuring depends a little bit on exactly what you're doing, but both of those would work. I fairly often use while 1 equals 1 as a fake out for an infinite loop, right? If I want to if I have a game that I want to have continue running, then I'll use that while 1 equals 1 trick to get everything going. And initializing your variables above board sometimes makes things a little bit easier. There's also a continue statement. If you want it to skip a loop for whatever reason, you can put in a continue, and that'll pop it out of the loop that it's in, and then continue running the next iteration. So it'll avoid any code that's below the continue. The break statement pops you out of the loop that you're in, not all the loops that you're in. So if you have nested loops, the break statement pops you out of the loop you're in. And so if you're looping through, it's pretty common to have nested loops to loop through like an image or something. So if I want to loop through an image, I might do for a row in the image and then for a pixel in the row, right? And so if I put a break statement for the pixel in the row, it's not going to break me out of the row that I'm in. It's only going to break me out of the pixel that I'm in. I hope that made some sense. We'll do some image processing later here. But for right now, this has been your introduction to while loops and also my niece.